Hello everyone, welcome back to our Unsettled Journey. Now, before we get into telling you what some of our favorite places to eat are here in Atlanta, we want to encourage you, as always, to subscribe, join our journey, follow us along. It really helps us out if you like this video. Comment down below some of your favorite restaurants, maybe in your hometown, and follow us along on Instagram if you want to see some things that don't make it here on the YouTube channel. Our Instagram is @OurUnsettledJourney.
And now we also have one special honorable mention for a little dessert at the end of this video. So now throughout our time here in Atlanta, we've discovered countless different restaurants that we really enjoy, and we just would like to share that with you today. So now we've gathered a list of 10 restaurants that we enjoy, and we tried our very best to choose locally here in Atlanta restaurants. However, there are some small little hints of chains in there because they're just so good and irresistible. So moving on to the very first restaurant here, which is Phom's Southern Kitchen. So now we discovered this actually on our first trip when we were not even here in Atlanta, when we were touring Atlanta to move here. We just happened to come across it because it's specifically known for its great southern food. We wanted to get a great taste of what Atlanta has to offer. And there are several different locations throughout Atlanta, and my favorite food there is the catfish along with the sweet potato casserole. And luckily the food there is very affordable at a decent price, so it's definitely not going to be a break the bank sort of situation. And it's highly recommended among us locals here in Atlanta.
So the next restaurant, moving from Southern cuisine to Italian cuisine, we discovered an Italian place called Scalinis. The decor inside Scalinis was really interesting. It wasn't like any other restaurant I've ever been to, and the menu is pretty lengthy. They have all the classic traditional Italian-American favorites. Personally, if I had to choose a type of cuisine, if I went out to eat, I would almost always choose Italian. I just love all those options like ravioli, chicken parmesan, pastas, you name it. So we got to go a few months back to try it, and we were really impressed with not only the food selection, but again, the interior, the decorating, and of course the service was amazing. So we really enjoyed our time at Scalinis, and we would highly recommend you go if you're in the Atlanta area and looking for some delicious Italian food.
Along with that, the atmosphere of Scalinis is really unique. They try and mimic and get that authentic Italian style to the theming of the restaurant, which helps brings it all together. So now moving on to a semi-famous restaurant here in Atlanta, and that is called the Marietta Diner. So now this restaurant was featured on Guy Fieri's TV show, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. So now this restaurant is known for its menu and plentiful food for sure. And we really don't have a particular favorite food there because it's really all good, and we order a different thing from the menu each time we visit because we like to sample little bits and pieces of what the Marietta Diner has to offer. And it's definitely good for a light meal like lunch. And they also have a really impressive dessert counter with cheesecake, cake, and sweets. So we really like the Marietta Diner, and we highly recommend it, just like all the other restaurants here in Atlanta. And if you're ever up in the Marietta area, which is just outside of the city, you should definitely hit it up.
The next restaurant we're going to be talking about is actually an adults-only restaurant. They have 2 locations in the Atlanta area. One is basically in Midtown, and one sits just outside of the city. It's called the Vortex. Now, the Vortex has also been featured on TV on the Food Network's channel, and they're mainly known for how delicious their burgers are, all kinds of different varieties of burgers that they have on their menu. But the atmosphere of the place is absolutely amazing. They've got all kinds of oddities all over the restaurant, hanging up on the ceiling and in different nooks and crannies, so your eyes have plenty of places to gaze as you're sitting there having a meal. And I can absolutely see why this place was featured on TV. It was absolutely amazing. The experience was awesome, just the atmosphere, the service, the food, really a local Atlanta gem. And this restaurant is pretty unique because the Midtown location, I'm not sure about the other one, has a comedy club attached to it so that once you're finished with your meal, you can easily go in and they have different acts performing different times throughout the week and throughout the month.
So now another restaurant here on our list is Phom. And yes, I'm talking about pho, the Vietnamese dish. So now Phom is located in Krog Street Market, which is a market of different types of restaurants and places to eat. and it's just one of my favorite meals to have there is the Phom, which is a meatball pho. Now, if you've never had pho before, I would highly recommend getting that, and at least just to try, because I like trying different things. And along with that, the Crook Street Market has its own atmosphere, and the restaurant itself has a nice seating area. So when the food's ready, it comes right out to you. They bring it literally from here right onto the table, which is like in a bar style. And we really enjoy the atmosphere. I enjoy the pho, so I highly recommend going there and trying it.
I have to mention Bones on this list because I got to go there for my birthday and it was really an amazing experience. They had absolutely the best pecan pie I'd ever had, and I keep wondering if I should just go back just to get the pecan pie. It was served warm, it was served with ice cream, and that was absolutely the best part of the meal. But Bones is ultimately a more upscale place to eat. They're known for their steaks, which I'm a meat and potatoes kind of person, so I just love having different meats or seafood. And it's right in Buckhead, which is just a little north of the city. It's known as a pretty upscale area. You'll find a lot of mansions and things throughout Buckhead, but Bones is definitely a place to splurge and a place for a really nice date or a special occasion. That's why I went there for my birthday, but it's absolutely one of Atlanta's best steakhouses if you're looking for a more intimate dinner experience.
So yet another great place that we have come to love is Lucky Lotus inside of Ponce City Market. Now, Ponce City Market, just like Crook Street Market, is a collection of different restaurants and even shops, and they sort of are in competition with one another, but they are both great either way. Lucky Lotus is a acai and smoothie place inside of Ponce City Market. And I'm a fan of acai bowls. I don't know, they just taste very good, and they're super, super healthy for you as well. So now this is the first place that I've had acai bowls, and I've just come to know and love them, and I've started eating them more and more since I've had them there. So definitely your first experience, especially at any restaurant, is something that you'll never forget, especially if it's very, very good. So they also have smoothies there, like I mentioned, and it's very, very affordable, even though acai bowls typically are a little bit more expensive, obviously depending on what ingredients and such you get in them.
So I'm going to talk about a sports bar type place that we discovered, also fairly close to our house, but also a chain type restaurant. Now, they don't have locations all over the nation, but kind of around Georgia specifically, and it's called Taco Mac, and we've been there a couple of times. We also ordered in when restaurants were closed. We ordered in from there a couple times, but their menu is pretty decent, wide variety of food. Again, when you dine in, it's got kind of a sports-focused theme to it, so of course they have large TVs to catch all the big games, a large bar area for gathering and talking about the games and the scores and all that, but they have fun cocktails. They have probably the best queso that we've ever had, even though it's not really like a Mexican restaurant per se, but they have really amazing queso and we get it every single time we go. I've had wings there, I've had chicken there, beef there. Every dish that we've had is actually really good, even their tacos. So you would think a place called Taco Mac would have excellent tacos, and indeed they do. So we really love Taco Mac and we'll continue going there, and it's a great place to take friends and family when they're visiting from out of town.
So we're getting the chains out of the way here, and we're going to mention just one other one that we really, really enjoy, which is Punch Bowl Social. Now this is sort of a hip and upcoming sort of restaurant where you don't just go for the food, but you go for the atmosphere instead. Now Punch Bowl Social, the one in Atlanta, is located at the Atlanta Braves Stadium, and it has lots and lots of different games that you can actually play, such as bowling, virtual reality, life-size Jenga, and even darts. So now I've been there with my family, and I took them there, and it was really, really good and enjoyable, and I got the best chicken and waffles ever. It was really something to remember, that's for sure. So definitely when you're there, you gotta play some games as well as get some great food. And catch a game if you're lucky. Now, if you go into Punch Bowl Social, you might have to pay for the parking there, depending on what time of the season and year you go, because there might be a game going on. However, if you spend, I believe it's over $50 there, they will validate your parking.
The last restaurant that we're going to be mentioning in today's video is probably one of my favorite restaurants that we've discovered since living in Atlanta, and it's Ray's on the River. Now, Ray's has 3 restaurants here in Atlanta, one in the heart of town, one farther up north in Alpharetta, and one near us, which is on the Chattahoochee River, which that river runs quite a bit through in and out of Atlanta. But Ray's on the River is another sort of upscale seafood focused restaurant, but they also have steaks as well and other options. But it's absolutely got the best atmosphere of any restaurant we've mentioned on this list. Being on the river, it just creates a very intimate and special dining experience. So they have large floor-to-ceiling windows along the far end of the restaurant where the river would face, so that diners can enjoy their meal with a view. They also have plenty of outdoor seating as well, so whenever the season is nice, you can sit outside and enjoy the sights of the water going by. There's gonna be people inner tubing and kayaking down the Chattahoochee. They even have a small area out there where you can listen to live music. I've been there already 2 different times, and both times the food has been amazing. I got the fried chicken one time, which was the best fried chicken. Very tender. It came with potatoes and vegetables. And the other time I went, I had a steak, and both meals were absolutely amazing. But being able to eat dinner with a view just creates for a really nice dinner experience. And while I haven't visited the other 2 Ray's locations, I'm sure they're just as good, and if it says anything about the restaurant, they opened in the 1980s, so they've been open for over 40 years, which really says something about the quality of the restaurant and the people that continuously go back and recommend it.
And we saved one little honorable mention for a little dessert, which is at Sublime Donuts.
So you can argue whether donuts is a breakfast food or a dessert food, but either way, it's always a delicious treat, and Sublime Donuts is a local place to Atlanta that has 30 different varieties of donuts available. Now, I first discovered Sublime Donuts when we first moved here to Atlanta. I was working in an office, and one of my co-workers brought in Sublime Donuts for us all, so that was the first time I ever heard of it, but I was instantly hooked. It's way better than your traditional Dunkin' Donuts or Krispy Kreme. They've got fun varieties of donuts with unique toppings on them, and definitely something for everyone, whether you like the very sweet or even savory. Sublime Donuts also has a few flavors of ice cream that you can get if you aren't so much into donuts. They also obviously have coffee and tea available to have something to drink with your donut, but we think it's an absolutely great place to get something sweet after you've eaten at some of these restaurants that we've mentioned in today's video.
So if you're not hungry now, just keep these restaurants in mind for the future if you ever come to Atlanta. However, these restaurants, we have not been to every single restaurant in Atlanta. These are just the ones that we really like that we've actually been to. So I'm sure there's plenty other restaurants out there that we didn't mention that are really good. And if you've been to Atlanta and have been to any of these restaurants or some restaurants that we haven't mentioned, please comment below, because we would love to try them out. And don't forget to hit that big thumbs up button and also that red subscribe button. It really helps, as well as hit that bell notification to get notified about our future adventures. So that'll do it. We hope you enjoyed and found this video very useful, and it will explore some of these restaurants in the future. So we'll see you all at next week's video. Bye!